we've got a beast of a tank here to house Autolyca herculeana. This is gonna be fun. Hello and welcome back to Bug Realms. On this channel we like to discuss all things creepy crawly, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now in today's video I'm going to talk about the care and keeping of the Autolyca herculeana, but I just need to point out you do not need an enclosure this size. I am going this size because, excuse me, I am going to be potentially super breeding this species, meaning I'm going to keep quite a lot of offspring myself before I pass any on, and we are going to try and build a kind of super culture, and later on we're going to look into introducing new bloodlines too to keep them nice and healthy, which is why I'm having a tank this size. Now if you are keeping these at home and you just have a few nymphs or a few adults, you only really need a tank around 24 centimeters high. Now where did I get 24 from? That's a bit weird. Well, phasmids need an enclosure around 3 times their length in height, and these guys, adult females, get to around about 8 centimeters, so they're not a particularly large species, but they are a fascinating one. So I'm going to set this tank up for you now, ladies and gentlemen, for how you need it for this species, and then I'm going to kind of show you them, rehouse them, and tell you a lot about them, or I say a lot, everything I personally know about their keeping. And I've been putting this video off for ages, and I don't know why, because they're such a fascinating animal. Oh, no one wants to look at this. No one wants to look at this. Hang on, let me sort this out. Okay, this angle's just going to have to do. So I've chosen an aluminium tank for these guys because mesh enclosures are the best for these. Now they're currently in an acrylic enclosure, but if you're going to keep them in acrylic or glass, you're going to want to add your own mesh to the sides of the enclosure because they're not great at climbing plastics or glass. Smooth surfaces, they can do it, but they will start to slide and get a little stressed, which is why these guys have only been in there in a temporary home for just a couple of weeks while they were growing up. Now they are all adult, we're going to have to set up their tank. So first things first, squeaky floorboard, first things first, the bottom of the tank. Now if you watched my last video, we use kitchen roll. Now there are 2 ways you can set up a bottom of a tank for the herculeana. You can do kitchen towel again on the bottom of the tank, which makes it easy to clean out the frass, easy to clean out the over, ready for you to incubate yourself. But the other method is a sand bottom. Now I do not want to use a sand bottom because I think it's going to be a nightmare to clean, and with an aluminium cage with a mesh wall, the sand's just going to tip out everywhere. But you do need a substrate, sand being the easiest when it comes to this species. Why? Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is what they lay their over in. These guys are not over droppers, they're not over flickers, they're not over gluers, they are over buryers. And without the opportunity to bury, they will hold eggs in themselves until they are gigantic, and I don't know if that can go horribly wrong later. So we're not even going to risk it. So my method is to put a pot of sand large enough for a few adults to climb onto to lay their over. So I have this dish. You do not need a dish this size, but remember I am going to be keeping a lot of these in here over time, so they need something pretty big, and we're going to fill it with sand. So this is actually a sandy soil substrate because I've ran out of my standard sand, but I needed to show you in this video, and as I sieve this out to collect over, it will start removing all of the soil bits anyway. You'll see what I mean when we go on in the video. So we're going to pop that down in the back corner like so. Now we're also going to place a bit of bark as a ladder for them to climb in and out, although I'm pretty sure for this small height they would still be able to climb in. So yes, this is the bottom ready for you. Now, we've talked about humidity rising. These guys do fine in dry conditions, but it's a new home and it's warm weather, so we are going to give it a spritz from the bottom. We're going to try and avoid the sand the best we can, because what we're actually going to do is sieve through the sand to find the over, separate the over and poo from the sand, so it's easy to collect up, so wet sand will not sieve through properly. So it's probably best to actually do that before you put that in. But hey ho, it's me. This is we do things weird. So there we go. Sorted. So what is next? Next, ladies and gentlemen, the food plant. So again, I've used a coffee type jar, but this time I'm putting a lid on it with holes, because privet stems are a lot thinner than bramble stems like we did in the last video, and I don't want them to fall in and drown. So now I need my privet. Here we are. You can see I've pulled away the leaves from the bottom, allowing it some depth into the water. There we are. Oh, my little caps come loose there. 1 second. So there we are. And we're going to place it like so. Now, these guys are all mature that I have right now, meaning they will not molt again. So I don't need to worry about raising the height of the food plants. These guys will be able to climb everywhere fine, and as I said, once they reach a maturity, these guys do not molt anymore, so they are perfectly safe. I'd quite like to have a twig or bit of branch, sorry, slightly over the sand as well. So there we have it. So now I need to get our adults out of their old tank and into the new one. Now, before I do that, I want to sieve through their tiny little egg container with sand that they currently have in their home, and let's just see how many eggs are there. Oh, that's awkward. So I went to remove their current egg laying substrate pot. There's a female already in there, looking like she wants to lay. Okay, so I cut that there because obviously that pot is not very big, and I don't think she found a suitable place to lay, unfortunately. So with this girl now, I'm going to allow her onto, well, she doesn't want to go onto the leaf. See if she'll walk off on her own accord. I want her to go near the sand pit, ideally, that she's... this is a problem with sticks. You can't do it with a camera one-handed. Okay, she's going to go onto the food plant. Ooh. I'll try and get future footage for you for laying down the line. But what I wanted to show you was this. You see, this is how we can filter some eggs. I'll do a proper video on it in the future. You get a sieve. You drop this on, the sand falls through the sieve. Look at that, that's satisfying to watch. And there you are, all eggs and frass. So now I can go and sort through all of those, check the quality of the eggs, remove that from the frass, and incubate them. So here on this twig, ladies and gentlemen, is two pairs, male on the back of the female. Now I'll see if I can wedge this into the sand so that we can get a closer look at how they are when they're breeding. You see that antenna going? That is a defense, that is a warning. It's flashing those red and black antenna. Now I'm not sure if that's warning the predator to stay away, or if that is a warning to other stick insects within their colony. That I'm unsure of, but they will only vibrate antenna like that when they feel there's a potential predator near. Now you can see how their abdomens have joined. He is depositing sperm inside her. Now you can see he is smaller than she is, but other than that, they look pretty much the same. So there's a bit more of a closer view. You can see that antenna is still going because I'm quite close to her. And now we've got a better look at the red and black colorations, but look how gravid she is. She's huge and he's still there on her back, breeding. Now you don't want too many males in your culture for the Autolyca herculeana, or you may want to sell some off because males will fight for females. Look how she still feeds with him on her back. Often you'll find that the males will stay on their back for quite a while to defend them, to say this is my gal, hands off. And this one is going for a walk. Now, none have sprayed me yet since I've been doing this, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen in this video, but these guys do have quite a powerful spray. It's like a milky substance, and it will burn your eyes, it will burn your nose, it will burn in your mouth. So make sure if you're dealing with them with kids, maybe wear some safety goggles or glasses and just be super careful. If it hits your hand, there's no pain in your hand, or that I've had so far, but honestly you don't want that getting up your nose or in your eyes. Look at this solo lady, the one without a male right now. Now I do have more to put in here, so I'm just going to go and fetch those now. So here I have 2 males. Now I normally like to look at my stick insects right in the face and be like, oh, aren't you cute? But these males are the ones that have sprayed me before, and I'm not risking that. That's one male. Let's get the other one in. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we have another pair. See how, although I'm picking them up, the male is staying on her, defending her from other males. So, as you can see, I left a lot of abandoned privet twigs in their old enclosure, and this was because I knew it was the easiest way for when this video came out to move them, because they're quite active at night, and it is night time here, and they will be scouring the whole tank. Alright, let go of me, Mr. Man. There we go. And we have the female climbing the tank again. Climb the mesh, darling. There we go. Again, we have another pair on a twig. As I said previous, they are all mature. So right now the ratio isn't too bad, but if you have too many more males, as I have said, they will fight, and that's not what you want happening in your culture. So the locality of these guys is Tegucigalpa, I think, Tegucigalpa, which is the capital city of Honduras. So if I pronounce that wrong, just look up capital city of Honduras, which is a country in Central America, I do believe. I'm not quite sure how they came to be in our hobby, to be honest. I believe that there were some breeders keeping these long term, and then we finally got hold of them in the UK somehow. If anyone's got any background information on that to do with this species, please let me know, because I am incredibly curious how they just sparked out of the blue into the UK hobby, which I believe was early last year or potentially late the year before. But they just appeared. The breeders had them and everyone went nuts for them, and I believe these are going to become one of the common species within the phasmid hobby because of their ease of care, their beauty, the ease of getting the food plant. It's just such a cool, smaller, simple species, but a beautiful one. So these are the picture for the Project Paradise logo, if you hadn't realised that, and they are Project Paradise insects, and although I reckon they will become common within the phasmid hobby because they're already going that way, they're still a species that I don't want to phase out. I don't want them to just be that fad within the hobby right now and then everybody overbreeds them and then suddenly stops, because that's how we lose cultures here. So I'm going to continue on with this species as long as I possibly can because I just think they are amazing. Look at him, he's gorgeous. Well, I tell you what guys, I'm happy overall because I didn't get sprayed in the face today. I know that's not entertaining for you, but I'm just so glad that I didn't. So that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got any further questions on the care and keeping of this beautiful phasmid species, please pop them in the comments below and perhaps I can update you with further information in a future video. But I'm now going to go put them up on the shelf, get myself a nice brew and go to bed. Thanks for watching everyone. Take care. Bye bye.